was New Year's Eve. I had just moved to Naples and I was ready to start my Dolce Vita life. I threw on my Lululemons, a cute athleisure tank, my Asics, and I marched over and into one of the fanciest coffee bars in the city. The second I walked in that bar, ooh, I felt like the whole bar went quiet and every fancily dressed Italian in there was looking me up and down. I plastered on my biggest Hollywood smile and I walked my way up to the bar and I tried to order a coffee. What followed was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. I'm Ambi. I moved to Naples, Italy in 2022, and it took me a moment to learn the coffee culture here. But now I can confidently say I am an expert in it. Let me share what I've learned with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. I now have a regular bar. I walk in and the guys are like, "Uè, Ambi." I know all of the baristas' names and I feel like a true local. But getting there took some time. It took some awkward moments. It took me literally having to beg a grumpy barista in a fancy white suit for espresso. Let me share everything I have learned about coffee culture in Naples. You stand at the bar. That is the whole vibe of coffee culture in Naples, Italy. In America, you go to a cafe, you find a cozy little corner, you pop up your laptop, and you're sitting sipping your matcha latte for a couple hours. That is not the vibe in Italy, at least in Napoli. In Napoli, you go, you have your espresso al banco. The whole experience lasts about 5 minutes, but it's a very stimulating and exciting experience. Embrace it. Yes, we do have the option to sit at tables, but you'll pay more. And I feel like it's not as social of an experience as chatting it up at the bar. Pay at the cashier first and then go to the barista. This is the thing that trips a lot of Americans up. A lot of bars in Naples have a two-step system where you go to the cashier, you tell them what you would like to order, you pay for it, you get your scontrino, the receipt, then you walk over with your little receipt and you say, "Un caffè" at the bar, al banco. The barista glances at your receipt, he makes your caffè, he slams it down, he asks you, "Acqua, liscia o frizzante?" That's still or sparkling water. Do what you want, there's no right or wrong. You get your coffee, drink your water, ciao. If you want, you can put 20 cents as una mancia, a little tip on the bar for the barista, but you don't have to. Not every bar does this. Some bars you do order and then pay. Just kind of scan the vibe at the bar you're going to and follow the lead of the other people. Un caffè means espresso. That's it. There's no modifications, milks, different sizes, none of that like venti, grande, small, medium, large. Like, it's just an espresso. In Naples, we have some of the best espresso. I would say it's very different from the coffee we get back in America. Before you try to modify it, just try it as it is. Okay, good, it's good. Now, if you do want to modify it, these are your basic options. You have caffè amaro, which is the bitter coffee, like plain, black. You have caffè zuccherato, which is you just add some sugar in your little espresso. You can say un espresso un po' più lungo, which is an espresso a little bit longer. Instead of like this, it'll be like this. You can say un espresso macchiato, which is an espresso marked, that's what macchiato means, an espresso marked with a touch of milk. We have orzo, which I don't really like. I think it's like a barley variation of coffee. We have ginseng, which I do enjoy a ginseng. That is a root and it's a less caffeinated, strong version. It's nice. We have obviously cappuccino. In the summer, we have caffè freddo, which is almost like a granita. It's an icy, sugary coffee slushy thing, and it's wonderful in the summer after swimming in the sea. If you want to get really crazy, and a lot of bars in Naples will have no idea what you're saying if you order this, but caffè leche, that is a coffee from Lecce, Puglia, and it is espresso with a little bit of an almond syrup and almond milk and ice. I get that in the summer because my barista knows how to do it, but a lot of baristas don't know. Maybe I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. Oh, and of course we have decaf. You can just say un deca per favore. No cappuccino after 11 a.m. That might be a rule you have heard. And it is true in Italy, especially in Naples. People don't typically drink cappuccino after 11 because they think it's too heavy. They're like, you can't digest your food. Okay, I'm Indian. I grew up drinking chai 3 times a day, which is black tea with milk. Personally, I have no problem with taking a cappuccino later in the day, but I will say I have adopted the slightly judgmental Neapolitan attitude of if you order food and a cappuccino, I'm gonna look at you and be like, girl, what are you doing? Unless it's a cornetto in the morning. If you get a cappuccino cornetto, which is the Italian croissant, at the bar in the morning, perfectly fine. But if you go and you order a pizza and then you order a cappuccino, the Italians are gonna be like, what the heck? Be assertive. This is not a vibey cafe. Now, Neapolitans are many things, but I would not say Neapolitans are the most polite. A Neapolitan cafe is loud, it is chaotic, it is bustling. The barista is moving around. He's like an octopus. He's got 8 different arms, invisible, all going, preparing 6 different coffees at the same time. He's slamming ceramic cups on the counter. The espresso machine is constantly going. Nobody is going to ask you, can I take your order? No, you need to be assertive. You need to make eye contact. You need to be able to go order your espresso, get your scontrino, and get that barista's attention. The first time I tried to get coffee in the bar, I felt like I was trying to hail a cab, a New York taxi cab. Taxi! It's kind of like that in Naples, honestly. At the most, you might get a prego. But if you take too long, they're gonna just keep doing your orders and you're just gonna be left at the bar with your receipt and feeling caffeine deprived. In Naples, at the time of this video, espresso generally costs €1.20 to €1.50 standing at the bar. If you are standing at the bar and somebody charges you more, you're probably getting scammed. Now, if you took your coffee and you were sitting down, it's okay, you might pay a bit more, but just keep note of that. And I'm not making this up. Some baristas will try to take advantage of tourists. When I had just moved to Naples, I was taking my Italian lessons, and under the Italian school, there was a bar. I would get my caffè al banco and I would pay. The lady was charging me €1.50. Now, at the time, a few years ago, that was a high, especially for a very average bar. I told my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, now I'm married, but I told him, babe, is it normal that I'm paying €1.50 for a espresso al banco? And he's like, goes to the bar. The lady charges him €1.20. I was seething. I tested it again. Caffè al banco. She goes, €1.50. I told her, that's really interesting because my husband came in here the other day and you only charged him €1.20. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? I wouldn't do that. I stopped going to that place. But there are some strunzis, mean people, and don't let them take advantage of you. You got this. Water comes with coffee. You shouldn't have to ask for it. The first time when I was getting coffee at that bar, which I don't go to anymore because they were rude, the barista was doing all these subtle little jabs. When I said un cafe, he was like, un caffè, che tipo di caffè? I'm like, strunz, un caffè e un espresso. You know that, I know that, why are you messing with me? But anyway, he also did not offer me water. Now, any barista will offer you water when you get your coffee. It comes in a little plastic cup and they'll say liscia o frizzante, still or sparkling. The tradition is that the water is to cleanse your palate before you drink the coffee. Personally, I like to take my coffee and then drink the water after to avoid coffee stains because Hollywood smile, you know. You do you. Anyway, just make sure you're getting hydrated. Dress for the bar you are walking into, where I had my little espresso disaster when I first moved to Naples, is super luxe. It's gold accents, white suits, rude people. But then there's also neighborhood bars, which are more local and nobody cares what you're wearing. Just check out the vibe before you march in. Bonus! This is for my friends who believe in karma. The Caffè Sospeso. This is a nice tradition that started in Naples in the 20th century. Essentially, you go to a bar, you order your espresso, and then you pay for un caffè sospeso. You pay for a cafe for somebody else less fortunate who might not be able to afford their cafe. The barista takes it, they put the scontrino for the prepaid coffee in a place, basically. It's in some bars, there's this giant mocha in the front of the bar. It varies per bar. And then later in the day, when someone less fortunate comes around, they can still enjoy the coffee that you already paid for, because in Naples, we see coffee as a basic human right. And no matter where you come from in life, everybody should be allowed this little nice moment of the day. And I think that's really sweet. Not every bar does this, but many bars do. The bar I know for a fact that does it is Gambrinus. It's another more fancy bar, but it is also a quite touristy bar. It's an experience. I recommend you check it out. Here's what I want you to know. Be patient with yourself. The first few times you order coffee in Naples, it might feel a little intimidating. You might feel like you're doing it wrong. That's okay. It took me a couple months before I was fully confident with ordering my coffee at the bar. It gets better, it gets easier. Now I have my bar, and it is so nice to go in and have this little interaction at the start of your day where you make small talk and you know about the barista's family, they know about yours. It's just really lovely, and it's that moment when Naples changes from a place that you are visiting to a place where you can call home. That is a very special moment, and that's what this whole channel is about. If you're honestly thinking about moving to Naples or southern Italy, I have a video on what it actually costs to live here. I'll link it here. And if you found it helpful, subscribe. I'm Ambi, and I post honest expat content every week. I also have a podcast available on Spotify, so you can also listen to my videos on the go. Thanks. Ciao.